Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am honored to have been allowed into a small business here in the Sacramento region that is opening up today and just in time. As you can see, I'm in a flower business, Twigs. Been here for 18 years, probably struggling through the most challenging time in all of those 18 years. And just in time for Mother's Day is opening back up. This is a retail establishment like we hope tens of thousands of others all across the state of California that now, based upon the modification to our stay-at-home order, can begin curbside pickup, can begin to bring employees back. This is a business that's been able to bring 8 employees back, start to deliver flowers to families, friends, and loved ones, and notably our mothers in time for Mother's Day this weekend. So this is just an example of what we hope to be seeing replicated all throughout the state of California as we move into what we refer to as the second phase of our meaningful modifications. We're doing so in the retail frame, as well as manufacturing and logistics, and working with counties all across the state of California, almost 24 that have reached out directly to us just in the last 24 hours since yesterday's announcements to begin the process of engaging and dialoguing about regional variants that allow people to move even more quickly into the latter phases of this new order. And that includes in dining establishments, or rather dine-in establishment. It includes a myriad of other functions, offices, and the like. I think it's important for people to know the whole idea is that we will move through phase 2 together as a state. And while we want to see local variation and we want to see counties work with us to move a little bit quicker, we hope to be making announcements on a consistent basis over the next few weeks, moving everybody into this next phase. I know there's deep anxiety people are feeling and desire to reopen, but again, all of this is based on those 6 indicators and our ability to test, to do appropriate tracing, to train a workforce of tracers, to make sure testing is available, not just total numbers in the aggregate, but available in your community on demand, and make sure that the results of those tests come back in real time. We want to be able to protect the most vulnerable Californians all across this state, our seniors, particularly in congregate facilities, homeless that are vulnerable to the spread of this disease, and to make sure that we have hospital capacity, hospital surge, and the ability in real time to do the kind of community surveillance that will allow us to know where the spread is occurring and how we can mitigate that spread and potentially toggle back and potentially strengthen some of these restrictions if indeed we start to see a transmission of this disease beyond our expectations. So all of this in real time. Lots of moving parts, but the good news is we are starting to move. I mentioned this yesterday, roughly 70% of the economy in the state of California can open with modifications into this next phase. I know 70% is not 100%, and I deeply recognize with modifications means with restrictions, and with those restrictions means the struggle for businesses to get back to where they were pre-pandemic. And that's why I want us to be sober about this reality. Just because you announced that we have a variation on an opening and people can do curbside pickup and there's a sense that things are moving again, doesn't mean that customers are confident and comfortable yet. Doesn't mean that we are operating with the total number of employees we once were, or the kind of revenue and receipts that businesses were used to. Quite the contrary. And so that is a reality that we all have to work through, and that's why it's so important that we provide supports and we do everything we can to help these businesses get through this moment, not to thrive yet, but to survive and get back on their feet so we get out the other side where they're stronger, more resilient, and more vibrant than ever. So yesterday was a significant day in terms of putting out guidelines Those guidelines are now being put in effect at Twigs. I saw it firsthand in the back with employees with face masks on, gloves in some respects, making sure that their delivery, their sanitation is up to par. It's a perfect example of what we hope to be seeing more of all across the state of California. Those variations, as I said, as it relates to counties that want to move a little bit sooner, as I said, we've over 20 plus conversations with those counties, and we'll be putting out subsequent guidelines by sector, by industry next Tuesday, which will allow some more clarification, including checklists. We have a new checklist that goes through issues around hand washing, sanitation, how to address the needs of customers through pickups, and how we can make the pickup and drop off process for deliveries, as well as pickups for customers easier and safer, how we can practice social distancing, physical distancing in environments that may be smaller like this, or even larger, some of these manufacturing and warehouse spaces. So we try to tailor these guidelines as prescriptive as we can, with a frame of flexibility always, recognizing that the entrepreneurial spirit that built this business from a dream to an idea, pen to paper, that entrepreneurial spirit we also want to see advanced as we work through this next phase. And so we want to provide the kind of flexibility that we recognize is important, because no two